Hello everyone, I'm Hessenauer. I'm a relatively new biologist at the LEC Clair Fish Research Station. So this is my first opportunity to talk to this group, but I'm glad to be here. And I'll try to be pretty quick for the last main presentation. So I'll be sharing with you some of the work that we've been doing on the American waters of Lake St. Clair and its connecting waters. It was sort of a strange year at the Lake St. Clair Fish Research Station. We had sort of the Kobe Bryant, Derek Jeter ask for farewell tour of Mike Thomas. And then also a little bit of amateur hour with the new biologists coming in and asking some questions about how things are done and why certain surveys occur. And then finally we had a big upgrade to our main research vessel, the Channel Cat. It got repowered, so we had some issues and challenges dealing with that change. So here's sort of a brief outline of what I'm going to talk about. Normally, this would say trap net survey on Lake St. Clair, but due to the repower, we weren't able to get those trap nets in, so we made up for it with some electrofishing of targeting smallmouth bass, trying to tag them. We were able to get back on the St. Clair River and do our annual sturgeon set line, so that went off pretty normally. We ran into some issue with our trawling. We had some hydraulic problems, so we had relatively few trawls. So we're going to skip that this year. We did add a new survey looking at the nearshore areas using electrofishing methods. And then I'm going to talk about a 2016 creel survey that we had on the American waters of Lake St. Clair. And then Megan already talked about the angler diary program, so I'll skip over that. So traditionally, smallmouth bass tagging has been part of our trap net survey up here in Anchor Bay. As I just mentioned, we were unable to do that this year due to issues associated with the repower of the Channel Cat. Thankfully, we have a new research vessel, the RV Mooneye, which is an electrofishing boat that we put together in-house, and it's honestly the best electrofishing boat that I've ever been on. No generator issues, no problems of any kind. So it's a really phenomenal research vessel. And as a result of that, we were able to sort of expand our focus. So we tag fish both up in Anchor Bay like we normally do, but also along the mile roads here in Lake St. Clair. So we're able to sort of expand the area that the survey normally covers. And here's a picture of the tag returns. So across all years, again, almost all the fish are tagged up in Anchor Bay, and that's where most of the returns come from. This is my favorite fish that decided to drive to an inland lake. I'm sure you've seen that before, but in general, there's not too much movement occurring with the smallmouth bass. Similar patterns in 2016, where again, most fish were recaptured close to where we caught them, but it's kind of neat to see this little difference in the clustering of these samples. So we're looking forward to both doing our normal trap net survey this year, tagging fish up in Anchor Bay, but also continuing that electrofishing effort down in this area. So I think this provides some useful data about the movement of smallmouth bass in the system and how that can meet different types of model assumptions. So that will continue moving forward. We were able to collect some nice size and age structure of the smallmouth bass that we sampled electrofishing this spring. We got roughly 470 individuals. These are pre-spawn adults, so that's why we don't have very many small fish. But we had an average length of nearly 17 inches, which we were pretty pleased with, and a lot of large and old fish over the legal harvest limit. So smallmouth bass appear to be doing pretty well in Lake St. Clair. Moving on now to our St. Clair River set lines. This is a picture of probably our single best set line. We got 4 sturgeon, 2 pretty nice ones, and a couple little ones. We had 174 total lake sturgeon captured this spring. The size range was from 21 to 71 inches in length, and we had 54 recaptures of previous years' sample fish. So we continue to generate some really nice data for population modeling and also tracking data. One of the added benefits of the set line survey is some of the insights providing into other species. So at the end of each set line, we set a minnow trap, trying to target northern matons, which were mentioned earlier. They're small catfish species. They're endangered in the state of Michigan and I believe Ontario as well. They're found in only a handful of Michigan waters, but evidently the St. Clair River is a hotspot for them. We've been kind of working over the past couple of years to dial in our sampling techniques and what sort of bait to use in the minnow traps, and seem to have settled on earthworms in a mesh bag to be really the ticket to catch a lot. So we caught 297 in 2016, which was by far our best ever catch. About maybe quarter through the field season, we realized that we were catching so many that maybe we should start taking other data on them rather than just counting them. So we started doing lengths and weights, and the weights didn't really work out too great because of the rocking the boat and the small size of the fish, so we didn't get the nice sort of log length weight relationship that we're used to in fisheries, but still generating some pretty useful biological data. We're hopeful that this type of catch rate will continue in the future and that we can maybe continue to take some additional biological data. We marked some fish using BIE tags, but didn't get any recaptures this past year. So it was either a very, very, very large population size or our tagging was having an ill effect on the fish. But we're hoping to continue that moving forward. I think this is a really nice example of how we can use charismatic species like lake sturgeon to fund a survey, but also gain information on other perhaps important species in the ecosystem that otherwise wouldn't get very much attention. And then we had a couple of special guests on the Channel Cat this past year. We're fortunate that people want to come on these surveys with us, and I think it's a really great opportunity for us to explain the importance of what we're doing for the species and the management and conservation of these species to folks that might not otherwise get the chance to have hands-on experience. This past year we had Michigan Governor Rick Snyder and former Congresswoman Candace Miller. She's currently the Macomb County Public Works Commissioner, so it was a really great opportunity to show these folks why what we do is important and how it fits into the greater picture. We have a really nice on-vessel database of the capture history of each fish. So this particular fish that the governor is holding had been previously sampled by us and also caught by a sport angler in the past. So it was sort of nice to be able to put that picture out there to the governor and to Candace Miller of what we're learning, and also constituents getting to use this resource. And I think in this day and age, expressing why what we do is important is becoming ever more important. So that was a nice success story for our group. Now moving on to our nearshore electrofishing survey. This is a new and annual survey, so planned to be annual. It's probably not fair to call the survey annual. It's only happened one time, but we're hoping to make it an annual survey. We sampled 13 locations throughout the Lake St. Clair, and basically the impetus for this survey is that a lot of our assessment techniques in the American waters have not been able to access the nearshore areas. And this new electrofishing boat that we have really provides that access. So we sampled 13 locations. They were sort of stratified to present a wide range of habitats available in Lake St. Clair. So we have armored shoreline, canal habitats, vegetated shorelines, and so some of our river influences as well. So it's meant to provide a wide range of habitat conditions. Each site was sampled for 30 minutes of shocking time, 20 minutes were spent netting everything, and 10 minutes were spent looking for young of year muskie only as part of a muskie young of year index survey. We caught a lot of different species of fish. It's the small sampling. One of the other goals of this survey is to provide some info on the status of other sport fishes that maybe don't get quite as much attention, such as the panfish populations in Lake St. Clair, and then some of the more specific opportunities, as well as provide recruitment indices for some of our sport fish, and then monitor for any potential invasive species. So we caught a total of 36 unique species. We handled roughly 3,400 individuals. Largemouth bass, yellow perch, and brook silver size were detected at all 13 of our stations. And then emerald shiners, brook silver size, and yellow perch were the numerically dominant species across the survey. So I'll end with our 2016 Lake St. Clair Creel, we had 2 Creel agents again covering the American waters of Lake St. Clair marinas and DNR bull launches. This has been the first Creel survey on our side of the lake since 2002, 2004, and we're really glad to have this survey because there's a lot of fishing effort that occurs in Lake St. Clair. And as Megan mentioned, in 2017, there's going to be a joint Creel survey that will cover the entire lake. So we're really excited about that as well. In terms of number of fish caught, yellow perch and smallmouth bass were numerically dominant. Largemouth bass were also showing up in large numbers, and then sort of diminishing catch from there. But these are sort of the main species that we are expecting to see. In terms of number of fish harvested, yellow perch again were numerically dominant, and walleye were then second, bluegill, and then declines from there. In terms of comparison to our previous surveys, it should be noted that fishing effort is fairly complicated to calculate for Lake St. Clair because there's so many boats out on the water, and a relatively small fraction of those boats are actually fishing. But we estimated a pretty steep decline in fishing effort between 2002, 3, 4, and then this most recent survey. So the number of fish harvested per hour appeared to decline for yellow perch and walleye, and was more or less consistent for bluegill. Those were the top 3 species harvested in this last survey. Number of fish caught per hour, we had evidently more smallmouth bass being caught per hour, which is pretty informative to us because we've been hearing a lot of complaints about how bad the smallmouth bass fishing was last year, and it was so much better 10 years ago, and the data seems to suggest that that's actually the opposite of what it was. But last year was a sort of a challenging year in terms of the water temperature, and we heard that there was a lot of difference in catch for some folks catching quite a few and some not doing very well. Largemouth bass catch was pretty consistent. It's not really a very targeted species in Lake St. Clair. Smallmouth bass tend to get all the credit and acclaim. Walleye catch was perhaps up a little bit. Northern pike and muskie catch also perhaps up a little bit, but there's been no statistical analyses to compare those. And again, these numbers are still sort of preliminary as we try to work out how to deal with the number of effort, the amount of angling effort in a consistent manner. So our 2016 Lake St. Clair report is in progress. Todd and I have been working on generating all the normal summary reports, but haven't quite gotten it ready for this meeting. I blame Mike Thomas for that. He left us in a tough spot. So this is normally where I would point you to our new report. We are working on it. We expect to have it in a couple of weeks, and it'll be available online as it normally is once we get that finished. So with that, I gladly take your questions. If you do are looking for data that's normally in that report, please contact myself or Todd, and we'd be happy to give that for you.